Hello and welcome to WarrenThornton.com. And as per usual, we are joined on a Monday by Paul Brooker from Brooker.tv, the Charlie Ward Show, and Viral TV. A man of many talents, Housewife's favourite. How are we, Paul?
Good afternoon, everyone. And well, I'm doing pretty well, pretty well. Just enjoying the news that's coming out, more so Ukraine. And wow, it is turning out to be a massive cesspit. But we already knew that. Now it's finally hitting the mainstream media. And that's what we were having a laugh about just before the show, weren't we, Warren?
We were, yeah, about what falls out of his nose. And of course, somebody else who looks like he's got something falling out of his nose, either that or he needs a laxative, is Zelensky, of course, who has turned around and said it'd be a good idea if Ukraine acquired nuclear weapons. He'd be the only one in the world saying that it's a good idea of acquiring nuclear weapons. But there we are. That's the sort of person or the sort of people we're dealing with at the moment. But there is something that really needs to be spoken about here because I believe, Paul, it to be the greatest own goal you could possibly have. And of course, it is the tankers. Not only did they blow up a Turkish tanker, but they also blew up two tankers that were going, don't get me wrong, they were going to a Russian port. They were in the Black Sea. Ukrainians used seaborne drones to make them, shall we say, to try and blow these up. And of course, they damaged the tankers quite badly. Nobody denies that they didn't score a hit. But of course, they were commercial tankers that they hit, Paul. And here's my biggest thing that I think is the hugest own goal they could possibly have scored. And I don't know about you, but what's the one thing that jumps out at you when you hear about this? Is there something that might jump out at you that when you hear about this, Paul?
Well, the only thing I can think of is everyone touts about Russia's shadow fleet. Everyone doesn't like the price of oil. It's 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 getting to the point where they're trying to make out this is far worse than it really is. You know, they've been talking about sanctions and everything. The sanctions haven't worked.
Oh,
Maybe they're now taking this up a level by blowing stuff up.
yes, absolutely that. We've got lots of people wanting to answer the question. Sean Murphy, then Robert, then Lee Williams. Sean.
Well, the thing is, what they're doing is the Russians can easily supply themselves with oil and liquid natural gas over land. So if that oil was on in the Black Sea, it was probably bound for Odessa and
Yeah,
Ukraine. So
it's actually bound for Russian port. It was Sevastopol.
right,
But
but
in a roundabout way, you're pretty much on the money. Um, the chances of the Russians with that attack now allowing Ukraine to keep Odessa is zero.
Hello, Lee.
Absolutely,
Right, yeah.
absolutely zero. Robert, you wanted to say something, and then Lee Williams.
I think the big question is, has anyone recently heavily insured those vessels?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Well, I would imagine, should we say, that they had to have help doing it because, of course, with the seaborne drones and everything else, the guidance. And, of course, let's not forget that the Americans had a flight over that area a day beforehand. So it's highly likely that that was the reason it was taken out. Lee Williams.
I was just thinking the same as what Sean was. Was it for Ukraine and they've actually wiped their own fuel out? But if it's for Russia, I
No,
understand they've done the wrong one there.
it was for Russia. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing we're going to get now, Paul, without a shadow of a doubt, buddy, is I honestly believe we're going down this road. I've always believed it, but there's no way now, Paul, that they will let Ukraine keep Odessa because if they're going to attack, if they think at any time they could just make attacks on ships that are like African ships, they're third-party ships that are going and they're out of Liechtenstein, from what I understand. they're going to Russian ports, and the Ukrainians are blowing them up. There's no way in hell that they're letting them keep Odessa.
No, there isn't. There is no way they're going to let him keep it. Warren, let's not forget, you've been calling this since last year on the peace deal. And well, guess what? It's come out now. The peace deal is what you said it was. So I am more inclined to go with what you say because you are monitoring this situation. 100% the Russians are going to want Odessa. If you're saying it at this point, that's what the story is. Because, blowing up Russian, commercial ships, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
Military vessels, that's okay. But you can't be blowing up the commercial tankers.
Yeah, absolutely. Knock yourself out. But the idea that they think, and of course, we all know the reason why this is, or I've certainly put forward plenty of times the reason why this is. And of course, we've got a major problem because the Russians are going to want their pound of flesh. It's certainly going to damage. If you notice, every time there's a peace process, Paul, the Ukrainians pull some stupid stunt like this, almost as though they don't want peace, isn't it? So let's get into this then, because this is Odessa. We know that the French are literally have lots and lots of vehicles and lots of Frenchmen in a place called Tulsia, which is on the border, which would be a mad dash for Odessa if they could. We know that they want to use the big, shall we say, the biggest NATO airfield, which is being now made even bigger in Romania, and that the French ships the Ukrainian ships will want to be going backwards and forwards to Istanbul, going to pick up grain, smuggling back weapons, and it was literally going to be guided by the French Navy and British jets flying over it to make sure that everything went well and nobody interfered with it. That's so off the table now, Paul, it's unreal.
Oh, absolutely, Warren. As you rightly said, we do see some crazy things happen. The moment peace is talked about, a reasonable deal was put on the table as well. We need to add this one because Ukraine, dare I say it, are hell bent on destroying everything. They can, well, not Ukraine. That's poor wording on my behalf. Zelensky and his mafia mates, because that's what he's running at the moment.
Yeah.
No fair elections. Corruption is everywhere. He sacked his chief staff member because somebody needed to fall on the sword to stop it going all the way up to the top, which is where it really is. And you can just see it now. Ukraine is a cesspit of corruption. It's a cesspit. And Europe are like the people at the back who just keep pushing. Go on, you can do it. You can do it. Right up to the point they fall on the sword.
As an intelligence asset of ours who works at the River House, works for MIT, turned around and said that finding a straight Ukrainian who wasn't corrupt, he said, was harder than doing the Times crossword, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Here's where I have a major problem here. So what we've got is we started out, Witkoff obviously went across on the behest of Trump, told the Ukrainians, this is a peace deal we've thrashed out. And the Ukrainians weren't happy with it. Then the Ukrainians asked for Rubio to get involved. Then Rubio gets involved, says, I haven't spoken to the Europeans. Of course you haven't, Marco. He then goes across. He completely scuppers Rubio's deal. Rubio is now going to fly to Moscow. Do apologise. Witkoff is now going to fly to Moscow because Moscow don't want Rubio anywhere near the talks because they don't trust him at all. I mean, this thing is absolutely dead. This is farcical. I mean, first of all, the three things that I'm going to go rather crazy over here, Paul. They went to the Ukrainians to see if they were okay with the peace deal first. So you're going to the people who lost the war to see if the deal is acceptable. The Russians have categorically said they have not agreed to anything under any circumstances whatsoever. And that it is only a document, as far as they can see, there's about 7 or 8 different documents. So they're waiting for the real one. And as far as they are concerned, there are certain non-starters in that negotiation. And of course, they've since, having gone there with the paperwork, Paul, that's been watered down so much, it doesn't even resemble the original American document. That would be my second point. And my third point is, if America really wanted peace, they just shut off the funding and the intel,
Yeah.
and it'll be over. Because
Yeah.
NATO, for all the bluster from Germany, Britain, France, you're not going to put troops in there. All the bluster of Kaya Kallis, Ursula von der Leyen, and everybody else. Shut up. You're not going to do jack. Paul,
Well, Warren,
over, all yours.
Warren, this is win-win for America. Okay? The war continues. Russia is depleting itself economically and military-wise, because obviously it's still throwing troops at it. It's still running a wartime economy. Okay? So straight away, America's winning on that front. They're gaining more economic power elsewhere and things, even though we know China's doing their thing. Peace comes along. Well, America is going to be the enforcers, so they're going to get the largest slice of the pie because they put the most money in. Europe has borrowed up to the hilt from America, who prints the money. Because let's be fair, these governments all throughout Europe, they're not in charge of their own economies. They bow down to the IMF and America. It's all dollar backed. Okay? So win-win. Europe is weaker because they've overstretched to keep Ukraine going. Zelensky needs the Ukraine war to keep going. He cannot have peace in any way, shape, or form. So he's phoning up all his mates who told him to keep fighting. We just need to keep the money coming. Well, they're bankrupting their countries as we speak. So either way, America wins. America wins across the board on this.
It's quite crazy, isn't it? And here's the thing that gets me as well. When we're talking about this, and now we're talking about the EU who can't afford to keep the war going, and they're turning around to the Belgians and saying, give us all the money from Euroclear, because I'm telling you now, there is about 240 billion in the Euroclear account. All the rest is dotted about in various countries like Germany and France and everything, and they pinched that and spent it. If there was any money left, they'd be getting that money, and they wouldn't be going to Belgium for the Euroclear money, Paul.
Yeah, but Warren, you know why, don't you? Because that money is favour with Russia. Belgium aren't stupid. Let's treat this from a point of view. Russia's got all this money spread across Europe, and Europe spent it all. This last part is Belgium's peace offering to Russia, so Russia doesn't crush them economically on whatever resources that they're going to import. They're not stupid. Europe is now at that point of every man for himself. There's a few steadfast holdouts, but they'll turn on each other at some point. France, UK, and Germany, just three off the top of my head. But they'll turn on each other soon enough. Belgium's not stupid. They've gone, we can't cross this line with Russia because it will crush us.
You see, here's the thing before we let Lee Williams in. Here's the thing. So first of all, and I'm absolutely correct here, we've shown you the map before of where all this money is, the 330 billion, and not all of it is in Euroclear. But if they could lay their hands on it, they would have, well, they did lay their hands on it. But what I'm saying is, you wouldn't be going to Euroclear if Germany is sitting on 32 million of it.
No.
Or I should say 32 billion of it. France was sitting on 17 billion of it. You bet your bottom dollar that's gone. But Brussels are now pushing it, and Kaya Kallis is saying we've got a legal document that allows us to steal that money. I'd like to know how that works out. And secondly, Belgium have turned around and said, well, if you were going to give us guarantees that everybody was going to stand up with this, and Europe were going to help out and they were going to shoulder the blame if we took the money, then they would have turned around and said that right at the start. I mean, if they're actually going to go to each other and say, right, we need to raise this amount of money to fight this war, Germany, we can't get the money from Euroclear. So Germany, England, Belgium, everybody's all got to stump up so much money. Why wouldn't they just sign the chit for Euroclear?
Yeah, exactly. So, Warren, you've just said it all there. I don't think I need to add any more to it. But as you rightly said, they've all burned through all the cash. They were all corrupt. They all refunneled it into their own pockets, whichever way you want to look at it. Belgium, I'm still standing strong. Belgium's not stupid with this money.
Yeah.
They know if they go join their European mates, Russia will crush them economically once this is all settled and the dust is cleared. Russia's going to take retribution on Europe. It really is. And they're going to suffer massively. Not that they've suffered enough.
That's the other thing as well that I wanted to mention to you, Paul, before we go on to your story, is here's where we have a major problem in that Russia want these people to face a court and get jail time and everything else. Russia are going to insist on this as part of the peace deal, Paul Brooker. So they'll literally tell America, you've got to throw your boys under the bus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And America will do it as well. America will do it. Because let's be fair, and I'm sorry to say this, look at World War II. America came in at the end when everybody was exhausted. So they looked like the heroes.
Yes.
And that's what's going to happen again in all this.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
Exactly that. Robert, if you want to have your mic on, buddy, you'll need to your actual mic has gone, so you'll need to pop out and pop back in again, and then your mic will reset itself. Let's get now with Paul for his stories. Paul, let's have Lee Williams, and then we'll have Paul's story.
Quick one. I was going to ask: Did Zelensky go to Ireland? I heard, and did he go by Ryanair or was it a private jet? Yeah.
I think he probably went on. You know what I mean? He probably went on one of those drones. But yeah, he did go to Ireland. I doubt if he travelled by Ryanair. He probably travelled on the what would you call it? The cocaine jumbo, Paul.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you'd call the train though. I think the train is the place to be.
Yeah.
Warren, can I just ask? Viktor Orban, he flew out to Russia last week, didn't he?
He did.
What was the result of that meeting, or is it still ongoing as we speak?
The result of that meeting is that he has promised, because the Americans stiffed Orban when Rubio decided to cancel the Budapest conference, that the conference, when it comes, or if it ever comes, between Ukraine and Russia, will be held in Budapest. And that will really piss the Ukrainians off.
Oh, God, won't it just? I mean, that's if Zelensky even turns up. Because I have a feeling the final signatures and stuff, I don't think he'll be there.
Oh, well, here's the thing, Paul. You've got Mindich, who is under investigation. He's buggered off to Israel. You've got Yermak, who's decided to supposedly disappear to the front lines after resigning. But the very guy who's in charge of the negotiation, Budanov, was moved aside. The head of the SBU has moved aside. So Zelensky doesn't trust him. Then you've got a hardliner. He is about as neo-Nazi as you can get. Rustam Umarov, the guy who likes to pleasure himself and has a daughter who's an OnlyFans model in Florida, is in charge of the negotiations, and he's being investigated for more corruption than Yermak. It's a mess.
Oh, isn't it just, Warren? Isn't it just? Well, I don't have many stories tonight, Warren, but one that needs... Oh, Warren, can you make me co-host, please? I've just realised I'm not.
Mate. I do apologise. Hang on 2 seconds. I was a little bit late this evening, so of course that caused a bit of a problem. Let's just get the sharing options up and multiple sharing. There we go. Is that up now for you? Oh no, I've got to make you co-host, haven't I?
Yeah, if you do that, then
that's all right. I'm not as I've got my stupid head on tonight. I do apologise. Let me just put that back to one participant. There you go, Paul. All yours.
Fantastic. Right. I hope this has been celebrated. If it's already been celebrated, but I want to celebrate this one. The Jamaican bobsled teams won gold.
Another one. Wow.
When I came across that finish line and saw
They've
that
actually won gold.
Place,
my God.
Couldn't believe it. I was just standing there speechless. It's a big moment for us.
The whole island of Jamaica is proud. Anytime we step on the block as a team, we always try to create a new history. We're a tropical island. Nobody expects Jamaica to be in winter sport, winning gold medal on the international stage. We always believe and trust in our abilities.
For us to win the race, that's a big thing. Knowing that, the country was devastated by the hurricane, we also dedicated this win to Jamaica. But this win uplift their spirits, give them something to cheer for. We are working on more historical moments for Jamaica.
The Jamaica bobsled going places. You will see even greater things from us.
Of course, the film Cool Runnings was all about the Jamaican bobsleigh team. My God, haven't they come a long way since that first effort where they crashed?
Yeah,
I think they
I think
last, but it was brilliant to see them.
yeah, because that movie was based on
The very first
story. Yeah. And the fact that we are now sitting here, the Jamaican bobsled team have won gold, is just, I think it's funny, brilliant, amazing. Bearing in mind, this is a country that doesn't get snow.
No, exactly that. And can I just add to that my heartfelt, brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic for the people of Jamaica, and to win it in an event that you're not known. It's a bit like Cuba winning the curling competition. You know what I mean? Fantastic. Well done, lads. Paul.
Right, and my next one, Lucy Connolly's daughter is in a spot of bother now.
Uh-oh.
On the other hand, we didn't want her to think it was because of her, because it's not because of her, it's because of me. And, you know, I said to this head teacher, you know, you should know that
Lucy Connolly has faced unimaginable challenges, but now it's her daughter Eddie who's being affected. After Lucy spent 377 days in prison over a social media post, Edie was finally set for a fresh start at a new school. Meetings were held, paperwork signed, and Edie was excited to start. Then, shockingly, the school pulled her place. Why? The head teacher discovered who her mother is and reportedly blocked the move, suggesting there could be a ruckus if other children knew. Lucy calls it blatant discrimination against her vulnerable 13-year-old. Adie, already struggling during her mother's imprisonment, was devastated. Lucy explains it's heartbreaking to tell her daughter she's being punished for something she had no part in. She emphasizes that Edie has never caused trouble or faced issues with peers, proving this decision is unfair. Lucy has involved lawyers and vows to fight for her daughter, highlighting that no child should be punished for a parent's politics. Would you fight back if this happened to your child?
Yeah, absolutely. What do we live in? A Nazi state here? Let's punish the children for the sins, for the supposed sins of the mother or the father. I mean, this head teacher should be taken out, should be thrown to the wolves, literally dismissed. To do that to a child, to a 13-year-old child, or any child, whether it be Lucy's or not, she should be literally hung, drawn, and quartered into, professionally speaking. She should be booted out of the school, because what you've done is you've let your politics get in the way of education. And there is too much of that by a country mile that happens, Paul. And this, the head teacher, whichever teacher blocked that, I don't know if it's the head teacher or not, but if it was, whichever teacher or whichever school board or whoever blocked that, they should be fired immediately. And the girl that goes to the school.
100%. If the child is not in the limelight, which that child isn't, she is now, because the head teacher has turned this into a political nightmare.
Yes.
And that head teacher should not be even looking at the parents.
No.
It's done on the child. And for her to do that is discrimination. And you think these schools are all about woke policies, and then this head teacher decides to go against his own woke policies of everyone's equal and all the rest of it, to then cast judgment.
Everyone's equal in my eyes, unless, of course, you're against immigration. Well, I'll tell you what, head teacher of that school, keep your politics out of it. That's a cross between politics and bollocks, just in case you were wondering. Paul.
Absolutely, Warren. And just the final notes on that. I've seen head teachers. They do power trip quite a lot, head teachers. It's shocking because they think they're in charge of an army.
Does that come from her or the school board?
Wow, I don't know. It was the head teacher that blocked the move in the article that I read.
Okay, so let's hang her out to dry then. Get her out of the school, because your politics shouldn't be shouldn't be affecting a 13-year-old kid.
My next one is about your Christmas decks outside. Come on, people, let's have a bit of common sense. They stole somebody's Christmas tree that was outside their house. bonkers.
I'm not one who, I mean, these people are scumbags. Now, if you want to lock somebody up for 2 years, do it to them.
Yeah.
Do it to them. Don't lock up people for all sorts of, shall we say, bizarre stuff like this. Lock them up. The people who go around stealing. I mean, they're just stealing somebody's joy. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Unbelievable.
normally it's not the parents that are angry, it's the kids that feel sad because some of these kids think that that's how Santa knows where to go.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? There's somebody who do that. I mean, you just are a scumbag. So yeah, and there you go, stealing someone's Christmas tree, automatic death penalty. I think one of those, dunk them in a frozen lake for an hour.
Ideal, Warren, ideal.
Oh.
Right, my next story, and I like watching the drone operator videos on TikTok, and it's a little sick enjoyment I have. But the UK drone laws are changing, probably because of these videos, these drone operators. So 1st of January, new drone classes. UK 0 to UK 6. 100 gram rule.
Wow.
Registration now starts 100 grams. Anything over that, you need flyer ID, opera ID. Sorry, it's moving a bit quick.
Yeah. Distances, limit to fly, 150 meters, and at night you need a flashing light.
Well, I think this all came about because they've been flying them over palaces, they've been flying them over private areas, MOD installations, and these drone operators aren't stupid. They know the laws. They've got geolocation. They've got all the bells and whistles. And a lot of disgruntled private owners, and I like watching the posh twits, as I like to call them, when they come out and say, no, I own the airspace over my house, dear fellow.
Yes.
They're very upset by this. And I think this is where... And drones are going to be more prevalent as well. If Amazon gets their drone delivery service off the road, all we're going to hear is a constant buzzing sound. I don't think they'll...
We've already had a dose of that in Sweden, where they've actually been, shall we say, certain drone operators, delivery drone operators, have been peering through windows with their drones.
There you go. It's the future, isn't it? Drones are going to become part of our day to day.
They are.
Whether it be for police enforcement, deliveries, just keeping an eye on your own kid almost.
Dying in Ukraine.
Yeah, it's a massive thing, and I think we're going to see more and more. What I'm really worried about is if they allow drones en masse out in the public, because I don't think I could handle the constant sound of the buzzing from drones.
How long do you think, Paul, before they start using these things? They have a military application first. That's how it works. But how long before the government start getting the idea to use drones to surveil people?
Oh, I'd say less than 5 years.
Or is it here already and we just don't know?
Less than 5 years, and those drones will be buzzing over all protests. They'll be doing facial recognition. They'll be doing crowd control, because let's be fair, you could strap a vat of pepper spray to the bottom of it and just bomb people with it.
Yeah, crazy.
It's literally, when you look at it, it's coming. It is coming. Nothing's going to stop it. Drones are on the way here, and AI partnered with drones. Well, government oversight is going to go to new levels.
You're not wrong there. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Bang on, shout. Lee Williams.
I was going to say, legally, it's 150 grams at the moment for a drone. So it's weird how they're making it 100 grams now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's odd. It's around about 150 grams is about right, because that's about the amount that you've actually got to deliver to Zelensky. Gordon.
I am a drone flyer. I have my own drone, right? I've already got the license, and but at the moment, all you need is for a 249-gram drone, you just need to register it, and that's all you need to do. So the new laws are going to screw me. Well, they're not going to screw me because I don't do it professionally. I just do it. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah. But here's the thing, isn't it? That they're going to say, oh, you can't do this. I mean, it's like all the surveillance things. It's like, we'll surveil you, but you're not allowed to surveil us. So you can't fly them over. Now, I get not flying them over airspace. But if one buzzes over the House of Commons, I can understand, that not happening. But the fact that they would get very upset, military installations, I can understand that. But I don't think anything else is out of, what are you going to do? You're going to turn around and say you own the airspace above your house?
But
God,
the
no,
thing
they
is,
can't do that.
oh, sorry. Most drone
No,
flyers, right, apart from one to do it for a living, most drone flyers like myself, we just go and take wildlife. We go over trees, we go over waterfalls, we do that. We don't do, we're not interested in spying on people. And mine's got GPS. If I go anywhere I shouldn't, it'll stop flying. I cannot, it'll go to a certain point, then on my remote, on my screen comes a red line and my drone stops. Because if I go into no fly zone.
Good stuff. I think there's this thing that's, I mean, you sort of get, you're going to get people know when they're doing wrong, Paul. They know where they shouldn't put drones. So at the end of the day, but what I don't want to see is them legislating living daylights out of joy. They do it with everything. Whether you're riding a bicycle or an e-scooter or whatever. Don't get me wrong. Can we not just teach common sense? Is that not better than since when do we have to keep legislating common sense?
Well, the problem is, Warren, is most people now are educated. Power of the internet is a wonderful thing and a bad thing at the same time. We're sitting here with everything at our fingertips, the laws, the legislations. So people take great joy in finding the grey areas and causing massive headaches for everyone around them.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it with drones. If it's your residential house and someone's peering into your garden with a drone, I get that. But over a commercial building or something like that, tough luck. As long as you maintain the legal distance, it's tough luck. And the fact that, and this is the hilarious thing, the fact that I watched one where they flew over Stonehenge and English Heritage tried to say you're not allowed to take pictures with your drone above it.
Why?
I mean, it's because the drone operator was flying his drone above it and they got all narky. Have you not been to Stonehenge lately?
Yeah.
Oh, they've turned that into some massive money-making machine.
Yeah, become Graceland, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's absolutely flabbergasted.
That's why, because I tell you what, when they take the coastline or one flies over Tintagel Castle or something like that, it looks absolutely magnificent. I saw one the other day that had gone up the side of K2, literally gone almost to the top of K2. Breathtaking to watch, and waterfalls and everything. Sean Murphy.
Well, I think a lot of this legislation they try to bring in, Warren, are people who are trying to justify their existence.
Yeah.
Civil servants and people like this, junior ministers in the government, etc. They're trying to justify their existence. They've got nothing to do. So they look for things to spoil people's pleasure. They look at grey areas and think, oh, if I write something out and we bring this rule in, it means that I'm doing a job. I'm actually doing something. I'm getting paid for something.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact is, most of it is rubbish. It doesn't really matter to them. They couldn't care less. They have to justify their existence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, their job is superfluous.
Good call. While Sean was talking there, Paul, I just had the idea. Could you imagine? You know that you have the skateboards. Imagine taking those off. And we've all seen the Marvel comic Silver Surfer. Imagine if you could get a board that, with a helmet that you could transmit to fly this, to fly, sort of like, how can I put it, engineless flight with a board. Could you imagine the mayhem that would cause? How quickly they would legislate against that? Because you'd be able to go to any country you like, you'd be able to fly wherever you wanted and everything else. They'd legislate the hell out of it so you couldn't use it.
Yeah, exactly, Warren. And it's something. The thing is, though, is the more and more we fast forward with technology, the more and more we lose the analog about us. We lose the, a policeman saying to a nipper who's just, I don't know, annoyed somebody, jog on, mate. Now it's right. Here's your ASBO.
Yeah.
We're becoming very yes, no. And that is breaking society because it's creating all these anxieties and everything else. And I always use this as a TV show called Futurama, and they attack the planet mediocre or something like that. Everyone's grey. No one's allowed to because they found every colour offensive. There was somebody who found everything offensive, and that's where we're heading to.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing. First of all, you want to tax the hell out of joy, and secondly, you want to legislate common sense.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense to me. Paul.
No. Well, that's it for my stories for now, Warren. So I'll hand back over to you.
Okay, buddy. Thank you very much for that. There's some real food for thought there. And of course, we're going to have, how can I put it? We're getting more and more nonsense that is happening to us in our daily lives, isn't it? And of course, we get the how can I put this? We're getting more and more attacks, Paul, on our freedoms. And it is quite incredible. Something else, before we move away from the UK, I want to talk to you about, and it's Lammy Lanebrain. He has replaced pictures of the Queen with African flags. I mean, honestly, as far as goals, could you get any worse? I mean, they just can't help themselves, can they, Labour?
Well, don't forget, Warren, the end goal is to destroy all heritage. It is to destroy all sense of nationality. It is to get to the point where we don't even call ourselves British anymore. We are just part of the global, I don't know, WEF agenda is the only way to describe it. Remember, This is all about gradually erasing everything away and us all becoming just this mess of cultures. That's it. That is the end game. And Lammy, well, he's an amazing puppet. He is an amazing puppet. The guy doesn't have a single thought for himself, loves to spend money on flights and food. And, well, look at him. He's achieving nothing. I don't even know what he does, in all honesty. I really don't. He holds a title
as little as
I
possible.
don't hear about. Sorry, go on, Warren.
As little as possible.
Yes, exactly.
Quite incredible, isn't it? Somebody's popped their hand up there.
Only a quick one. I was going to say, the one thing that Lammy is good at is eating. He's very famous for that.
Yeah, he certainly is. Quite staggering. Let's have a little listen. Somebody else wants to have a word as well. Sean Murphy.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised this winter if we see Lammy walking around in that Lord Chancellor's robe with a wig on his head to keep his head warm. And just walking about London, going into Sainsbury's or, Lions Cafe or wherever he goes, or into restaurants wearing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely spot on. Let's have a little look at this now, because this seems quite crazy. The nonsense that is coming out about Epstein. Now, have a listen to this, Paul.
So let's read it to make sure. To Jeffrey Epstein, and that's the real Jeffrey Epstein, not Jasmine Crockett's Jeffrey Epstein. This is the real Jeffrey Epstein. From Hakeem Jeffrey's campaign. Dear Jeffrey, we are thrilled that we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, one of the rising stars of the New York delegation, sometimes referred to as Brooklyn's Barack. Hakeem is committed to electing a Democrat majority in 2014 and is encouraging his friends to participate in a DCCC fundraising dinner with President Obama and Hakeem Jeffries. It ends with a number for Jeffrey Epstein to call, to go to the dinner, and, quote, get an opportunity to get to know Hakeem better. Here's the evidence. The email speaks for itself. The only stone cold liar in this debate is Hakeem Jeffries. So, Mr. Minority Leader, take a deep breath, chill out, stop lying, stop with the juvenile name calling, and own up to the fact that your campaign solicited campaign cash from Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know about you, Paul. Don't get me wrong. There's lots of people that names need to come out, but we're just getting political nonsense here, where people are just throwing Democrats are throwing Republicans under the bus. Republicans are throwing Democrats under the bus. Not much is going to come out because we all know nothing much happens to politicians. And all the time, the victims and everything else are just fading into the background. And I'm sick to death of this. And when we stick out the Epstein files, we're going to be naming, as we have done already, quite a few people. But why are they not doing this, Paul? What is going on here? Because it is at the point now, isn't it, where you can't hide this any longer, can you?
Well, I think there's an old tactic that the politicians use, which is drag it out long enough and people lose interest. That's a massive game plan that they use, tactic, I should say, time and time again. And this is what they're doing now. Who cares about the emails? What I care about is attached images, attached videos, audio files, the actual blackmail tapes that Epstein had that we all know exist. You don't get power and control over people because you lend them money. No, you get power and control over politicians because you have something on them. It's obvious. And as you said, the victims, why are they not getting an open trial where actually the truth comes out? And the only way they're actually going to get things done is if more and more of them band together and they work as one movement. They have to. Trying to do this one at a time, oh, I want to sue him, it doesn't work. You've got to come together as a class action to get traction on this. But likewise, the evidence is buried at the moment. Those emails have been screened, they've been checked. Dare I say they've been doctored because they're telling us that they're legit. But let's be fair, Warren, how long have they had those emails for?
Yeah, exactly that.
How long? The longer they're kept, the less trustworthy they are.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but anything of any real value is being kept behind closed doors to be used as leverage against the people that are in those videos, tapes, pictures, whatever you want to call it. They will not see the light of day because they're too valuable to be given to the open public.
Yeah, and we need to. Yeah, there's too much in there. We need to see them, and we need to see them not today. Not next week, not next year. After breakfast would be ideal. Let's have a look at this then, Paul, because I want, before you go, ignoring a D notice carries with it no legal consequences per se. Really, try ignoring one. But the review team were informed that it was a very important reference point for editors in reaching decisions about what to publish. In serious cases, the government department concerned can seek a court injunction to stop something being published. When secret material has been unlawfully disclosed or published, there is an ultimate sanction of a criminal prosecution under the Official Secrets Act, though such prosecutions in recent years have been very rare and directed against the discloser rather than the media. However, British soldiers and spies censor news reporting on national security, coercing reporters into silence. Now, there is a committee out there boasting of a 90% success rate in enforcing the official British line on any story or disappearing reports entirely. In a new investigation by the Grey Zone, a new trove of documents through the Freedom of Information, the FOI, request provided unprecedented insight into Britain's little-known military and intelligence sensory board. Now, the contents lay bare how the secretive Defence and Security Media Advisory, or DSMA Committee, censors the output of British journalists, not these two, while categorising independent media as extremists for publishing embarrassing stories. Now, the body imposes what is known as D-notices, which are essentially gag orders, systematically suppressing information available to the public. These include the bizarre 2010 death of GCHQ codebreaker MI6 and British Special Forces activities in the Middle East and Africa, the sexual abuse of children by government officials, and the death of Princess Diana have all been used in the past few years. The files show the shadowy committee maintains an iron grip over the output of legacy British media outlets, transforming British journalists to royal court stenographers, with the committee having firmly imposed themselves on the editorial process. A wide range of reporters have submitted apologies to the board for their media offences, flouting their subservience in order to maintain their standing within British mainstream media. In addition, the documents also show the committee's intention, where they can extend the D-notice to social media and engaged with tech giants in a push, have suppressed on many occasions revealing disclosures on platforms like Facebook and X. The DSMA described itself as an independent advisory body composed of senior civil servants and editors, which brings together representatives of the security services, armed forces, and of course, the Director General of this policy is a guy called Paul Wyatt. And we did some digging as well. The British Army veteran brigadier, Geoffrey Dodds, serves as a secretary, raising serious concerns to what extent British news on national security could effectively be written by the Ministry of Defence. Even though the MOD explicitly retains the right to dismiss its secretary, the DSMA committee insists it operates independently from the British government. I've a bridge to sell you. Now, the unprecedented disclosure was the result of an effort by the committee to assist Australia's government in creating a D-notice system of their own. In doing so, it established a paper trail which Canberra was forced to release under its own freedom of information laws. Now, the Australian authorities fought tooth and nail to prevent the documents release for over 5 months, until the country's information commissioner forced the Home Affairs Department to release them, Paul.
Wowza. I'm going to have to sort of digest that a little bit, Warren, because there was quite a lot of information there. Now, this all stems from ignoring a notice. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Here's some D-notices that were put out. Here we go. Naming Snowden disclosures, death of Princess Diana. There's 85 from the intel agencies. All those years. These are so you can't report on any of the things there. Special Forces, the death of Princess Diana. There you go. They're not available until 2031 and 2032. So there's D-notices about stories that might come out in a couple of years' time. So they've got ahead of the game by making sure that those notices can't be used by you. And here's some more, shall we say, bits and pieces. Look at this. So there we go. DA notice system and application of D notices. Here's the numbers of the D notices for the VCJD, Peter Barron and Jane Cruss resignations, MPs and child pornography, OP-OR, which was a secret intelligence, Danish BC on UK policy, on Iraq interpreters, CAB office, the OSA, and the case studies of the Royal Medical Association. Paul Brooker, the chances of abuse and silencing journalists is quite staggering.
Oh, absolutely, Warren. Absolutely. I mean, MPs and child pornography. I mean, why is that top secret that you're not allowed to talk about it? I mean, none of this should be off limits. None of it. Unless it is a matter of national security, not national humiliation.
Yes, absolutely. Sean Murphy.
Sorry, Warren, excuse me. The RMAS, is that not the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst?
Yes, there's that as well. Yeah, I do apologise. Yes, of course it is. It's the Royal Military Academy of Sandhurst. Of course, there were some deaths there, if you remember. There was some talk of bullying and things.
Not
Well,
just Deep Cut, but Sandhurst as well. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So of course that's been hushed up. And here's something else on top of this, which is really, I would say, dark. Ofcom are getting involved in this as well. So there you go. E.g., declassified online MOD to ED in response to Freedom of Information requests. The Sun 2017 details of planned UK training battalion deployment to Afghanistan. And then we go, the instances of journos publishing stuff that they don't want them to see. And on top of that, Paul, on top of that as well, I'm going to show you one more here that, of course, will make you, I would imagine, spew up your lunch. Here we go. Form of advice, 1-to-1, 2 verbal, track changes on email on separate unclass IT. All editors, a formal email, formal supplementary notice to all editors, but need to balance effects of the supplementary notice with increasing media awareness. In other words, we don't want to keep putting these out. So as a matter of course, can you please stop talking about it? Mainly topics or issues, mainly SPI, impending military action, methods and techniques, but depends on MIL and security activity, e.g. Afghanistan, MIL plans, capabilities, intentions, public interest, of no concern when issuing advice, focuses on the agreed text, in or around the standing notices. So public interest is of no concern whatsoever, Paul.
No, exactly. It's all about saving face. Corruption is just rife. It's getting worse as well, though, Warren. We need to state this, that the control of information is being tightened every day.
It is.
Online Child Safety Act. Well, that's being abused straight away. Let's not forget when the councils abused the terrorism rules so they could go through your bins. Just remember, ultimate power comes with ultimate abuse. Always has done, always will. Everything like this needs civilian oversight. And I'm not talking civil servants. I'm talking civilian oversight. People who don't have skin in the game. That's the only way you keep systems like this fair. And what we're looking at there is those D notices. Well, who's there to contest them?
Well, just before you go, we'll be showing you something that we might get a D notice for. Sean Murphy.
Just a quick one, Warren, as Paul mentioned about councils going through your bins. Something funny that I read today is that the bin men in Birmingham are on strike.
Of course.
Well, we knew that. But the agency bin men hired to replace the bin men in Birmingham who are on strike are going on strike.
What a surprise. That would be obviously because it's too bad what they've got to deal with. Good call. Dialogue is a strange organisation, Paul Brooker. Let's have a little look at this. Sometimes compared to Bilderberg and the World Economic Forum, the organisation was founded by Peter Thiel and Orrin Hoffman. It maintains a low public profile without a website accessible to the public or disclosed membership, and is described as a closed-door meeting that brings together executives, elected officials, and academics. In 2025, Dialogue purchased land in the Washington, D.C. area for a planned campus. Sounds very World Economic Forum-ish. The organisation has been criticised for elitism and prompting conspiratorial speculation, given its invite-only format and limited public information. Dialogue hosts annual off-the-record retreats, typically limited to 100 participants. Previous events have been held at the Bacara Resort in California, the Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain in Arizona, and the San Clemente Palace in Venice, Italy. These gatherings are off the record and emphasise candid discussions across political viewpoints. Topics range from AI, healthcare and politics to personal themes such as caregiving, relationships, mental health and the afterlife. Reported members of Dialogue, Rima Al-Saud, Scott Besson, the Secretary, of course, the Secretary of the Treasury for the United States, Cory Booker, Sophia Bush, Ted Cruz, Tulsi Gabbard, Laurie Gottlieb, what a surprise that she would turn up, Richard Haas, Jonathan Haidt, Orrin Hoffman, Reid Hoffman, Robert Herr, Kaya Kallis, Gary Kasparov, Henry Kravis, Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, Wes Moore, Elon Musk, Grover Norquist, Chamath Palihapitiya, Jared Polis, Eric Schmidt, Anna Marie Slaughter, Larry Summers, Peter Thiel, and Rick Warren. Nothing to see here, Paul Brooker.
Well, Warren, we know that the WEF is at the top, and then there's all these like small organisations underneath that try to operate without attention. Let's be fair. Look at the attention Trump brought to USAID. I mean, that was a smoking gun, if you've ever seen one, of following the money, looking at the corruption and ending it. And we know there are far more organisations out there that secretly influence governments, and they're all brought on as, I don't know, independent advisors and things like that. Look for the word independent advisor, then follow the money.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It is quite staggering, isn't it? And of course, we're going to get more and more of that as we go on. I wanted to get your idea, Paul, because it's a very, very strange thing for me. I've got to say, we've had some absolute strangos or very strange goings on. As I say, what is your thoughts on this? Because we've got the Taiwan who are building their so-called submarines, and here's obviously that's not the submarine; that's just a mock-up of it. They've paid for an awful lot of money to have 8 submarines built, and they haven't built one of them. Once again, it seems as though there is a flow of money to the military-industrial complex, and they can't deliver even one sub on time, let alone 8.
Well, Warren, I don't know about that side of things, but if they haven't even got one underway, it makes you wonder where the money is and what's it really being used for.
Yes. Could we please have the cash? That would be absolutely brilliant. We have to. There's something else we need to have a look at as well, because this is quite crazy when it comes to Japan and the US. Just before you go, Paul, because I know you've got to do the off in a minute. The Japanese have a new craze. They are doing what they call the San Francisco. They're taking the mickey out of the Americans. Have a look at this. And of course, they're getting a prize for the one who looks the best American zombie.
Well, Warren, I mean,
I couldn't not show you that.
Honestly, what I'm seeing now is you've got China and Japan coming across, and they're looking at Western culture like we're heathens, is the only way to describe it. We're drug addict, woke lunatics. And don't forget, I've been to Dubai. I've sat in one of the, shall we say, one of the top families' mosque.
Yeah.
And they were laughing at Western news on the telly, looking at the dumb stuff we are doing. It's they were just laughing and pointing is the only way to describe this. We are mental in the West. We are absolutely mental.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's hear from Sean Murphy, then then Paul can tell us where everybody can find us as briefly as you can, Paul. Sean,
is that some sort of new dance that the fentanyl flop?
Mate, honestly, the Japanese this is caught on in Japan like you wouldn't believe. There are TikToks everywhere in Japan with this on. So just so you know, but the one thing that is amazing, Paul, is they're banning it like hell in America. They're actually banning showing it a lot of these. So, Paul, where can people find you on your social media?
Everyone can find me over on brooker.tv. That's where you find all my content, all my links to everywhere I appear. So thanks, Warren, for having me on. It's a pleasure as always.
You're more than welcome. It's always great. You always bring a lot of news stories on. And, of course, they're always good fun and thought-provoking as well. Thanks so much for your time, Paul.
Take care, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye-bye. We are going to now play this for a minute.